One of the things I love about travel is the food. You know, every country or every region really has their specialties or very food that's just very important to them. Just got back from a trip in the Balkans, and one of the more popular dishes there is cevapi. Now, cevapi are these little sausages that are really, really good, and you're going to see how to make them in a different show. But what they do, they put them in bread, and one of them is lepinja. And today we're going to be making lepinja like a bastard. Lepinja is a puffy flatbread. Kind of an oxymoron, isn't it? But it's a flatbread, and it rises and it gets really puffy, and you're able to put your sausages into it and make such a great sandwich. And we're going to make that today, and it starts with proofing some yeast here. This is exactly 106 degrees, 6.5 degrees right now. And I'm just going to mix this in here. Ooh, looks like it's more like 107. I think that's going to work. As long as it's not over 110, it's going to do its stuff. So we're going to let this sit for about 5 minutes here. And while we're doing that, we have a couple more steps we can be doing. So the ingredients are very simple. It's 4 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar. Then you mix up your dry ingredients. And set it up in your mixer. And you see after 5 minutes your yeast has started to bubble. This was 3/4 of a cup of water. You also have 3/4 of a cup of room temperature milk and 2 tablespoons of oil. We're using canola oil today. So you take your mixer, mix it on low, and then start to slowly add the milk, and the yeast, and the oil. Get that started, turn up the speed just a little bit. And then after a couple minutes, you'll see how it's pulled everything away from the sides, and it means your dough is ready to be kneaded by hand. So you got this delightful piece of dough for your lepinja, and what we're going to do, we're going to put a little flour on here, and we're going to knead it a little bit more. So you knead it just a little bit more until you get really a smooth dough. And after that, we do that, we're going to just cover it, and we're going to let it sit for 45 minutes. And we're going to be back here on Cook Like a Bastard. Well, it may have seemed like a couple seconds to you, but in real life it's been 45 minutes, and now we get to punch our dough down. But look how lovely this dough is. It's probably doubled in size, and we're simply going to just knock it down and do it again for 45 minutes here on Cook Like a Bastard. And like that, another 45 minutes went by, and the dough did what it was supposed to do. Did you do what you were supposed to do? I know I fixed my hat a little bit so I don't look quite as dorky. So
you think you look dorky in the hat? Just wait to see what you look like when you cut this thing.
Ooh. Oh man, and this is nice dough. Bubbles up a little bit. I'm going to cut it into 6 even pieces here.
No. Just cut straight down, straight through it. Do not move your knife. It's going to work out.
So I cut it in half.
But just cut it. We'll make them work.
Cut it diagonally.
Oh
my. And as you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 3, which are. It's about the worst cutting I've ever done, isn't it? So I'm going to take my roughly. Okay, one of them's not really close, but let's pretend there's 6 even-sized pieces of dough. And so what we're going to do, we're going to fold it on the insides, the outsides in, and then fold the top and the bottom in. So we have a little seam on the bottom. And then on a dry counter, no flour, no oil, we are just going to keep on moving this around and form a ball. And after we're done, tuck it in again a little bit. And here you go. You got a perfect round ball. So you get to do that 5 more times. All right, so you have your 6 balls here. We have different sizes, and it's going to be fun. So don't worry about it. So I'm going to cover these up for 10 minutes. And hopefully, we have some dough. Here on Cook Like a Bastard. Okay, another 10 minutes has elapsed. Your Lepinjas have settled down into their 6 equal-sized balls. And now your job is to flatten them out. And flatten them out with your hands. Now, don't use a roller because you'll push too much air out of it. Make them about a ½ inch thick. Then after you do that, put it on a greased pan. Let it rise for another 10-15 minutes. This one's for you, Junior.
Now look at that, you pulled it out and you even made a little one for me. You're the best.
The little bastard has to eat too, right? Let those guys sit for 10 minutes, maybe 15, maybe 20. I shoot for 15. So we let the Lepinja sit for another 15 minutes in its perfectly round discs here. And now I am going to cut some diamonds across. Don't get too aggressive with it. So you're just kind of pushing down just a little bit. And depending on the way you're looking at it, they could be squares or diamonds. Debate that a little bit while I finish this process. Again, precision is never really a key to the Cook Like a Bastard method. It's really the outcome and the flavors that we get when we're done. So I've got these in their little shapes here. I'm going to put some sesame seeds on them, which may or may not stick. It just seemed like it was missing that little something. Okay, my oven is preheated at 480 degrees, and I'm going to put these guys in right now for 10 to 12 minutes. So we've been in the oven for 10 minutes now, and we're pulling them out, and they are absolutely beautiful. Big and small, they ended up very nice.
He made that little one for me. It wasn't just bad cutting.
So what you do after this, you spray them with some water. Then I'm just going to put them underneath, put them in here, keep them fresh while we grill our chavapi.
He cooks like a bastard.
So anyhow, I mean, look how beautiful these are. They raised perfectly. It didn't matter how big they were. Really, the important thing is do not flatten them too much when you're in the flattening process. You knock all the air out of them, and they're not going to rise big enough for you. Today, we've been making some Lepinja bread for our chavapi, and this is great. It's easy. It's tasty. You know, don't worry about the details. You'll get there. It's easy. Here on Cook Like a Bastard.
To make lepinja, place 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast into 3/4 cup lukewarm water, stir, and let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes. In a mixer with a dough hook, mix together 4 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon sugar, and 1 teaspoon salt. Slowly add in the yeast water, 3/4 cup warm milk, and 2 tablespoons of oil. Remove dough and knead until smooth. Cover for 45 minutes. Punch down and cover for another 45 minutes. Divide dough into 6 equal pieces and create balls and let rest for 10 minutes. Flatten into discs and place on greased baking pan. Cover and rest for 15 minutes. Press in lines, add sesame seeds. Bake at 480 degrees for 8 to 12 minutes. Remove and spray with water and wrap in a towel.